This episode brought to you mostly by Dan and John because my mic was muted for about 15 minutes.
This is Hot Drop, where we bring you premier PUBG analysis and defined drops. I'm Dano.
I'm Cody.
I'm Lemon John. We stream Monday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/hotdrop_podcast. Discord link and hotline number in the show notes. Stop messaging us on Reddit, please. Our topics for today include our definition of done for PUBG as your care package. As always, some speculation, tangents, jokes, and singing. So let's get into it.
Housekeeping. Rossertron. Have you guys met him? Do you know who he is?
He wasn't at the meetup.
I've heard of the man.
He's from the UK, and he's holding a tournament. It's not really a tournament, actually. It's just one game. It's this Saturday, 8 p.m. GMT. It's a duos match. Winner takes all. £5 entry fee. It's UK bucks for you guys out there. And yeah, winner take all. So jump in. If you want to get in on that, contact him on the Discord. And he's promoting it pretty heavily, so just reach out and get signed up. And make sure you pay, because a bunch of people have signed up and not paid yet. So we're looking at you guys. Fork over that cash. Come on.
Give us your money.
What time? Was that what you said, John?
Map. What map?
Oh, what map? I believe it is, and let me check on the fly and continue talking, because that's how I fill the time between the moment when I announce that I'm looking for something and the time when I finally found the information I'm looking for. It is Sanhok, third person, 20th of April, 8 p.m. GMT. Found the information I'm looking for. It is Sanhok, third person, 20th of April, 8 p.m. GMT, £5 entry fee, one game, one prize, winner takes all.
Nailed it.
Sounds sick.
Yeah. And alongside that, we've got a mobile night hosted by the Sofa King crew. Also on Saturday, on April 20th, horn. And I think it's still to be determined, the time for start there. So just get in the Discord some point during the day. We'll announce it. We'll tag the mobile group just to say we're starting up. Tom is going to open up the lobbies, I believe, a little bit before official start time. Is it 4 p.m.? Okay, yeah, we do have a start time. I'm stupid. I don't read my own notes. 4 p.m. is the start time. Is that Eastern? Do we know? Eastern time.
4 p.m. Eastern.
Perfect. Get in there. Top 10. Top 10 for February just dropped. I finally did that video. Only roughly 2.5 business months late. That's how I do it. Congrats to Jammy on the win. He jammed.
Jam.
We'll send those stickers ASAP. 3 to 4 business weeks. Challenge of the week is going strong. Like we mentioned last week, it's pretty sweet. We've got a lot going on the challenges now. Clay and Bedford Boy have taken the reins. And shout out to you guys. You are now part of the challenge winners groups in Discord, giving you access to the prestigious supporters lounge and the magnificent champagne room. So join us on stream. We'll ask you to play with us as well if we need players to play with on stream nights. This week we also had a special shout out to Ben Almond Milk for completing the monthly challenge, not once but twice. A double AWM win.
That's
pretty impressive.
It's nuts.
Pretty impressive. So if you guys want to compete, it's not just who gets the best score that week and then it's over. It is in fact a running tally of scores. I think the top 3 people win every week, and you can find more information in the Challenge of the Week room in the Discord. We've also been thinking about some subscriber-only content. I don't want to give away what that is, but
we've been talking about it.
Can you guys say anything else? I don't think you can.
I don't think we can. It'll give it away.
I'm afraid that you'll yell at me for giving it away.
Don't give it away, John.
But
I know the song says, give it away, give it away now. But we cannot give it away.
I can't wait to listen to that where it's just barely off sync because we're singing like I am aligning to you on my headset, which is different than what Dan's recording on.
Yeah, I dig that.
Yeah. I'm going to cut it somehow and align it
Yeah,
I'm recording.
You got to match it up
on my machine. I don't know.
This is your official tryout for Best Singer of episode 86, so make it good. Just teasing you guys.
Yeah.
So more to come.
Karaoke.
Karaoke?
Only content.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, I just say what.
I mean, if you want to fire that up, fire up the old karaoke machine. Patreon.com/HOTDROP. Get us a karaoke machine. And
Yeah, I just say what.
I mean, if you want to fire that up, fire up the old karaoke machine. Patreon.com/HOTDROP. Get us a karaoke machine. And there might be a video.
New Twitch Sings. I've been seeing that around the interwebs. I think they got some like legal licensing for some popular songs.
No, it's actually they didn't get any legal licensing. You just have to make up lyrics to their approved soundtracks.
Here's this beat, like make a song of it. Oh wait,
I think Cody should start streaming that. Just every night.
Yeah, definitely.
Sing for like an hour every night,
and that'll be for our supporters only.
Yes,
I think. Yeah, and if you're asking yourself, these are wonderful human beings, and I love hearing their voices in my ear holes. How do I support them? Well, let me tell you.
Redbubble.
We've got all kinds of things. We've got shirts, posters, all that stuff. It's on Redbubble. Just search Hot Drop. We also have a website. This is hotdrop.com. You can get to all of those places pretty quickly from there. We have an email address, hotdroppodcast@gmail.com. You don't have to use Reddit. You can find us there. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Discord. You could... I think that's all, actually. YouTube message? I don't know. We'll find it, but why are you using Reddit? I'm looking at you, Lord Freep.
Listen, Lord Freep.
Mad Dog had no choice, but you can't just keep following Mad Dog down a rabbit's hole.
Listen, Freepmeister. You live like 2 hours north of me. I know you know how to use a computer. If you can find us on Reddit, you can find us on Discord. That's all I'm saying. All right?
And quit calling yourself a lord. We only can have
There's
one
only
lord.
Lord here, boy.
In this establishment. Lord Freep comes at us from a neighboring
message
via Reddit. I don't get you people. It says, OMG, all caps. I love you guys. Face with heart smileys. It took some time to find you. Actually, I had to ask Mad Dog.
Nah.
Liar.
I don't know where to start. PUBG is life. I'm going to lose my girlfriend because of it. My son and I listen every week. If I knew when and how to call in, I totally would. Okay, now you're just slacking off completely. Lord Freep.
He's trolling. He's trolling.
You're trolling us. You're trolling us, fam.
There's no way.
Hotline number in the show notes. Hit up these.
508-216-0006.
Unreal. I don't get you people. I'm somewhat computer illiterate, so I don't really know how to use Discord, but I want to play with you guys. Gosh darn it. I censored it right there a little bit. It's a family show. I play on Peeps, so this is where I disagree with you, Lord Freep. I have a lot of love.
We have encouraged every single one of you. You know what? Roll it, Dan.
I'd really like to talk about how dumb as hell that is.
Dumb as hell.
You're so dumb. Really dumb. For real. Dumb as hell.
Don't you ever come into my Reddit and sass me again, Lord Freep. Every week we tell you PS4 mode trucks to talk to us, to play with us, to interact in the Discord. And now you reach out on Reddit? On Reddit? I'd read not. Dumb as hell.
With the audacity to say that he made it to number 8 in the winter season 2019. So now you're just bragging. Unreal.
Dumb as hell.
With the audacity to say that he made it to number 8 in the winter season 2019. So now you're just bragging. Unreal. We love the PS4 fam. They never leave the looking to play a PS4 room. Can we do anything about that?
Besides they literally have to scroll past all the good shit to just find somebody to play with.
There's so much good shit you're scrolling past. So much.
Heated arguments about syrup.
Heated arguments about fast food chains.
Heated arguments about video game.
That was just today.
If you give us $1, you'll be able to scroll up and see me without a shirt
Oh, wait, where is that?
in the supporters lounge, like in the very beginning.
You'll see Colonel Ping in a very seductive outfit.
But
But I'm not going to say what it is, because you have to find out for yourself for the low fee of $1 a month.
So far out.
That's great. Yeah, thanks, Lord Freep. You're great. Love you. Thanks for listening. Awesome.
And the sun.
And son.
Freep
Baron
Jr.
Freep, I guess.
The Duke of Freep.
He concludes by saying, we have two solid fans, Lord and Baron Freep, here in Buffalo. We can't let this game die. I'm right with you, fam. Preach. Let me know how I can help. Hit me up 24/7. Let your boy know if you want his selly digits, he says. P.S. And this is actually, honestly, straight up, real talk, for a second here. This is the best part of doing the podcast. The fact that we have people
Yes.
that, like, quote us and have inside jokes because of the show is just mind-boggling to me, and it's so amazing.
Yeah.
So he says, I don't know if you guys remember when you referred to Cardi B, and Cody said Cardinal Beatrice, but my son and I say that all the time now, so thanks for that. So that right there is actually, you've redeemed yourself, Lord.
Cardinal Beatrice is like one of my favorite
funny.
things that I've done in my adult life.
It made me laugh a lot. Also, it's hilarious that you and your son talk about Cardinal Beatrice all the time. Just pointing that out. How often does that get brought up?
Oh my god, I'm sweating. This is great. It could be the cider I'm drinking, but it's
Come
probably just
to the
me.
Discord, Lord Freep. Come to the Discord.
Yeah.
Post about your solo rank winter season 2019
Yeah.
stuff.
But don't
And also
post in
send
the
me-
PS4 room. Just post
Yeah.
in the main room.
But also send me Paula's Donuts and Costanza because I don't want to drive 4 hours just to get those. Thanks.
Yep, send me some
Thanks.
Tully's tenders, please. I think this is a great letter, and I encourage more of this. Thank you
Not
for that.
on Reddit. Thank you.
But please not on Reddit. What are you doing? Just send us an email. Go in the Discord. I feel like we scare people off because the Discord is like, oh, I don't know what that is. I have to download something new. It's really not hard. If you work at a tech company and know what Slack is, or if you work at any company and know what Slack is, it's pretty clear how to use this. There's different rooms in here. We got rooms for banter, off topic, other games to talk about, food and drink. Show us your battle stations. Show us your pets. Show us what music you're listening to. We truly, and I firmly believe this, have one of the most active Discords ever for the size.
yeah.
I agree.
Like, I'm
Even
a
the
member
ones
of
that
a
are-
lot of Discords. And
Even the ones
none
that are
ladies.
massive, people don't interact the way you guys interact.
So if you
Yeah.
want a good time, you want some laughs, you want to hang out, you want to chill, you want to meet new people, you want to play some games, you want to talk about life,
Want to pay us
you want
$1?
to pay us $1, you can do that. It's a really cool, really fun place. I truly believe that we have one of the best Discords out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thanks, Lord. Well,
Thanks,
should
Lord.
we let him be a Lord, or are we going to...
I will think about it.
Okay. Pictures of Tully's tenders will allow you to maybe be considered for keeping your title of Lord. And now into the care package, the main event.
It's dark in here.
Send it.
Care package on the way.
This is an interesting care package, and I'm saying that because a very...
Wise monk once told Dan,
yes. Where's this going?
if you don't change your socks, you'll get athlete's foot.
Man who farts in church sits in his own pew. Something like that. Player Unknown has left PUBG. He's out.
Player unknown has left the building.
He's out of the building. Maybe even the country.
He's living in Amsterdam.
He's moved on. Brendan Green. Not Brandon Green. Not Brandon. Y'all are wrong if you say Brandon. I bet
That's
he's
his
gone. Brendan, his cousin, is not who made PUBG. Brendan Green has moved on, and now he had an interview with believe it was one of these video game companies, people's gamesindustry.biz. So he gave this interview. who knows who they are. Shout out to them, friend of the show. And he's saying he moved on to the new special projects division at PUBG Corp. So he's still working at PUBG Corp, but he's not working on Battlegrounds anymore. He will be based in Amsterdam, and he's working on new types of games and experiences. He says he's under an NDA, so he can't disclose it, but he's working on ways to explore and experiment and create new technologies, tools, pipelines, and gameplay. My guess is this is VR of some kind. I think that's kind of a natural progression of,
gotta be,
of
probably.
gaming. I think it's still in its infancy, and I don't know if it's ready for prime time yet, but that's maybe another care package for another day.
I don't think you're going to see games like this in VR, though.
I don't know. I
think they're going to be very, very casual like games. Actually, when I was talking to that guy a couple of weeks ago that used to work at Xbox, he had the same sentiments. That's probably where I got this idea from. Is that he says like it's too much. It's too much to be that immersed in something.
Like, are you talking about
VR
like hardware constraints or like performance?
No, like,
or like just
the ability to play a game that is so fast moving and intricate in VR. I don't think we're going to see that.
I don't know. Yeah. And I mean, that's probably something we should save for another conversation, but I think you're right. It's very difficult to be looking in 360 all around you, waiting for people to pick you off, you know? Like, it's not just, it's not like a screen, I guess. I don't know. I don't really have fleshed out thoughts on that yet. But anyway, he is quoted as saying, "The last man standing concept is great, but I've done that. I just pushed that. I really intend to make PUBG 2. I've done Battle Royale. It's time to try something else." He wants to see PUBG and BRs in general as esports, and we can see that he has pushed that pretty hard with PUBG Corp, and they are doing that. They are putting the pedal to the metal on the esports stuff. But he says he'd also like to see Battle Royale stabilize and see more people making their own Battle Royales out of pleasure rather than trying to make a quick buck. And we've seen a lot of games come out just trying to cash in on the craze of Battle Royale. Apex Legends, he says, he calls them out by name, did an amazing job. They didn't hype anything. They just announced it and delivered a great game. It's hard to enter the space right now, and I don't envy the developer teams with that task.
There were so many companies who like shat out a BR.
Yes.
That like, you know, some were kind of spoofs of the genre or that kind of thing, or just kind of like, we need to have a BR mode for this because that's the thing.
Yeah.
But I agree. Apex Legends really kind of like made room for themselves in a growing market.
They did
like
an amazing job.
An overly crowded market.
And the fact that they didn't hype it was the biggest thing for me. Like, we didn't even know it was
I love
coming.
that.
And it was just like, here's the full game for free. And it's great. No other games do that. It's just so much like, oh, we have an announcement for an announcement. I'm going to tease it on Twitter and whatever else. Like, just launch the game and be proud of it and stand by it. And they did that and they crushed it. And they're doing great. And it's a great game. But yeah, I mean, he basically says that the game of PUBG is, well, he doesn't say this. I think that he's saying that the game of PUBG is essentially complete from a creative perspective. And the reason I think he thinks that is because he said he accomplished his goals and he created the BR experience he wanted. He's not planning to make PUBG 2.
Right. So his position, like, he was the creative director, right? Like, I don't know what his exact title was, but he was able to put his vision into computer bits.
Right.
So, like, what else can he do to help the company? It's not like he's going to, you know, work on the maps or like code some new stuff, right? Because he's not a coder. He's always been like more of an ideas man, and his idea has been put into practice.
And it's been wildly successful. Over 3 million concurrent players. No other game that I ever have heard of has come close to those numbers. I think before that, maybe Fortnite, because we don't know exactly what the numbers are there. But on Steam, at least, no other game has come close. I think at its best, Dota did like 1.5 million or maybe 2 million at the most. So clearly we have a winning formula. PUBG is great. I think there's a lot of other reasons. I want to get into reasons why it's great and maybe another care package. I know we've probably mentioned all of those reasons at one point or another on the show over the past 85 episodes, but I think there's some more to say about what makes it so great and what sets it apart, and why you go play Fortnite or you go play Apex and then you realize, oh, it's not really PUBG. Like, there's something about PUBG. So I want to talk about that. But anyway, this whole thing, him moving on and him saying he's not working on PUBG 2 and him saying that the game is complete from a creative perspective, makes me wonder, do we think that PUBG is done? And what does the definition of done look like for this game? So it's kind of it's a pretty big question, because I think about this also, and I think about this also in terms of my job. Like, a lot of the stuff I do, I'm in a product organization. So like, we talk a lot about MVP and like, what does done look like? Like, when can we release this product? Do we think that PUBG is done, and how do we define what done is? So I pulled out a couple thoughts about why I think it is either done or nearing completion, and I'd like to see if we... So I'll say my initial point of view is that it is done, and then we can see how that changes over the course of this discussion, I think, because you might change my mind, and I just want to hear your guys' perspective. But the first reason why I think PUBG is done or very near completion is because we have fucking weapon charms now. We have no new mechanics. We're just tweaking old things. We're refreshing old mechanics that already exist. The last few features, the last patches, have had features like weapon sounds, vehicle sounds, movement sounds, the rustling. There's loot adjustments to maps that have been out for a very long time. Erangel was the first map. It's getting loot adjustments to make it more balanced and more fun to play. We're getting weapon damage tweaks, the whole weapon mastery system, which ultimately is just stat tracking. Those are the things they're highlighting as the biggest features coming out in the last few patches. And honestly, once you're writing dev letters on rustling sounds, I think you've hit the last stage of development for your game. Also, there's a huge focus on esports now, and I don't think you can have esports without a game that they feel is complete. I think it's got issues, and I don't know if they should be pushing esports as hard as they are, because for one reason, I'm crashing almost twice every stream night. In 3 hours, I crash once or twice every night. That's a problem. Still, yeah. Last time I crashed, and the time before that I crashed on PC. So I think that there's still some stability issues they're working out. But the fact that they're focusing on esports tells me, they think they've got a pretty solid game, mechanics wise and feature wise, that we're ready to say this is ready for competitive play. And they're focusing on new features like observing tools and replays. I also think that PlayerUnknown himself leaving indicates the core game is there, it's built, it's done. It's done from the standpoint of his vision being complete. Any thoughts on this stuff? I mean, do you guys agree with my idea that maybe this is pretty much it? This is what we're going to see?
I think that there are two avenues that the answer could come from. I think they're done developing. We're not going to see another map for a long time, minus any of the redos, like the improvements of maps. I don't think that the game is fresh enough to constitute saying that it's not done, but from a function standpoint, it can't be done.
From a function standpoint, what do you mean by that?
The game itself does not function the way that a done game functions. However,
performance?
Yeah. Like it cannot be a done game in that sense. But in terms of maps and stuff, like their seasons aren't like real seasons, Mm-hmm. So in that sense, the game is done developing in that way.
Yeah, I think they have a lot more to go on performance and stability. The fact that we can get 150 frames is great, but I don't need 150 frames all the time, but I need it to be smooth. I need it to feel as if I'm getting 60 all the time. And I
barely get 30 half the time, but I have
but even your hardware isn't that bad. You shouldn't be getting the dips that you're getting. So right. I think it's very valid.
Right too. Having the jumps is really rough.
Yeah, trying to land in Castle or Villa on Vikendi, their fourth map, and it's still their least worst performing map, is just crazy to me. I don't get it. I don't know why that's the way things are. I don't know.
But I agree that the core mechanics in the game are like the features in the game are done. And I also agree with Cody in the feel of the game does not feel done. And I don't know if this is kind of the first game that I've played since basically beta, since like early access, and played through the whole time. So I don't know if it's just like, you know, a feeling that comes from like experiencing those mechanics come to fruition as you're playing. So it doesn't feel like you just get dropped a new game. We've like been with it along the ride. So I'm not sure if I feel like it's unfinished because I've been here the whole time, or if it's actually just because it's a, you know, not a very high performing game in terms of, you know, computer.
In terms of, say that again?
Computer performance.
Oh, performance. Okay. Yeah. I think that's probably the biggest thing for me that makes it feel like it's not a polished game. Like, features aside, like I'm okay with a AAA title not having weapon mastery, not having charms for my ARs, you know? Like, I'm okay with that. But I'm not okay with having a game that should be running just pristine, like CSGO runs, Counter-Strike Global Offensive. I can get like 300 FPS solid on that game, and it feels like 300 FPS. You know, it's just so smooth.
Yeah.
That. I don't think this game will ever be as smooth as a Call of Duty or a CSGO or a Battlefield. I just think that it's impossible.
Yeah, it can't because the variables are all different.
Yeah.
But there are some like obvious improvements that should be made. There are other games, you know, maybe not to this scale, but there shouldn't be this level of compromise, I think, on performance to have this game. Like those compromises, it shouldn't compromise performance to be able to have the game that we have today.
So does it come down to performance then? Is the number one thing that we think makes a finished game?
No, well, that's what I'm saying is like, I'm not sure. I think feature wise, you're right. It's done. I don't think there's much more that they can add that would be like, oh, we really needed that in the game to call this like game done. But it still doesn't feel like a game that I would just pick up, like, you know, and start playing and be like, okay, this is a game. Like, I still think of this game as like early access beta stuff, just because of those performance issues, I think.
So you wouldn't pay $60 for this game? Is really what it comes down to, right? Like, that's the ultimate test.
So I think that my money has obviously been well spent. I don't have as many hours as a lot of people in Discord, but I still have like 500 hours or something in the game, which isn't a small amount of time to play a game. That's like well worth the money that I paid for it.
Yeah.
Along with it, but like the majority of my time was fun and it was good. So it's not that I wouldn't pay $60. It's just that I wouldn't call it like a polished product, I guess.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I'm very happy with what I spent, the amount of return I've gotten for my $30 or however much I paid.
Yeah.
I'm very happy with that. But yeah, so like, I think you got to look at it as a couple things you have to make a game completely done. It's the features, it's the lack of bugs, and it's performance. I think those are the three things. And
like
I think
game-breaking bugs, because
the game-breaking bugs, yes.
So many games come out and they have bugs.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, think back to the time not too long ago when we had PC games that came on a disc and you installed them, and that was it. There was no day one patch. There was no day one patch. There was no 1 year patch sometimes. Maybe there was like 2 patches that the game ever got that drastically increased performance or drastically added more features. Like, that doesn't exist anymore.
Even console games had re-releases of versions that would, you know, fix a game-breaking bug or something like that. Like there are like cartridge games that first version that was released, the 1.0, had a crazy game-breaking bug that needed to be basically patched out, but they couldn't. So they just like on the next reissue of the games or whatever, they released a different version, something along those lines. So like bugs happen. Sometimes you don't realize it, that kind of thing. It's not that there should be 0 bugs in the game. It's that the game should be as bug-free to make a consistent experience, as possible.
Yeah.
And one of the problems that's such a tricky situation with PUBG is because of how many freaking variables there are in this game.
Yep. Yeah, how many little rocks you can get stuck in, all of the terrain and the vehicles and the angles. Like, I was thinking about this the other day, and I don't know if this really fits with what you're saying, but kind of. We were driving around on Erangel in a UAZ, and we ran into a tiny bit of terrain that was, I don't know, I guess flat, and we crashed into a bump that was nothing. Like that.
That still happens?
That still happens. It still happens. I know exactly the spot, too. It was on Erangel. So, like, it's those kind of things where that's such a small thing, but, like, there's so much, like you said, variability. There's so many things happening, I guess is a really easy way to put that.
Yeah.
That like that it's very hard it's very hard to polish out all of those inconsistencies and imperfections.
Right.
I forgot where I was going with that thought, but it's things like that. When that happens, it's like, wow, okay, that's so dumb. How is this not fixed by now?
Yeah.
And maybe
those types of little bugs aren't the ones that I mind. It's a good example of like, wow, that's kind of ridiculous that that's still in the game, even though we complained about it on stream like a year ago.
Yeah. Well over a year ago, I feel. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's pretty funny, but yeah, those types of bugs aren't the concerns. It's like the game crashes. It's the patch that broke a bunch of things for Xbox people. It's the fact that they have not been able to release a patch that didn't break a ton of stuff for Xbox, right? Breaking thing, the game that you love, that you want to play, that you come home and relax to at night, and then it just like every time there's new cool stuff for you to try out, it's broken. And I think that is part of why it doesn't feel like complete, is because they still can't release a patch without breaking.
Yeah, that's the frustrating thing on Xbox, for sure. So we know that there's problems with stability, performance.
Sure.
But I think, and it sounds like you agree, that feature-wise, this game is complete from the perspective that if you bought this game, you'd be happy with the features that are in the box, right?
Right. I mean, maps, tons of maps, which is great. Tons of guns, different loadouts, that kind of thing. Still tons of areas to explore on each of the maps, different strategies. Yeah, I think it's a well-rounded game in terms of content. There's a lot of stuff that got released for free. But yeah, definitely still the consistency of the performance.
Mm-hmm. Cody, do you agree with that? Like, just that you feel like the features are there and everything that you want from this game?
What I said earlier to myself apparently was I wouldn't buy this game today if I didn't already own it.
Interesting.
Oh, hot take.
So if you think about all of the games that are out there that we know run almost perfectly, aside from the fact that virtually none of them are third person, which we know I prefer. Mm-hmm. Even though this is only $30, I know that other games, and I only play this game and not the others because of how invested I am in it have been since the beginning. And so one of the points that I wanted to make, and I think it's a really prime example of this, is if you look at the way that you move around in the other games, like you guys were talking about frame rates and all that and like actual performance. Mine is actually like how I'm playing the game. So we played for a really long time without vaulting.
Oh yeah,
And
I
then
barely
they-
remember that.
Yeah, but then they implemented vaulting, and then they left it alone.
Yeah.
They added 2 new animations,
Mm-hmm.
and then they left it alone completely. That's just giving up on development, right? Like I should not have to hop over a half wall and stop my momentum completely.
Mm-hmm.
And we do that every single time. You're running at full speed to get away from somebody, and then you get up on the wall, and it's the same animation every time. You don't have angles, you don't have momentum. You stop on the other side, and then you have to start running again.
Yeah.
And I feel like little things like that are great examples of why this game, you know that it's considered done in their eyes, and they're just making improvements to quality of life now, and they're not going to make. I think a year from now, this game will look pretty damn similar to the way that it looks now.
Mhm.
But to me, because I played it for so long, I don't necessarily care. Yeah, I'd love to see it improve drastically again. But because if I were buying a new game and I wanted to get into Battle Royale,
Mhm.
I mean, I might go like Firestorm or Apex just because. I know it runs better. I know more people are playing. I know the content is probably coming out more frequently and better. But I'm not going to because I love this game.
Yeah, I think what you said about what was it? Dang, I had
The
a
vaulting?
point. Vaulting. Dang, I had
The
a
vaulting?
point. Vaulting. Oh, the not noticing the changes like a year from now. It'll look
Yeah.
basically the same, right? We talked about this before, like the little performance enhancements that they do are so minimal each week. They build on each other, which is nice, but we don't really get that performance boost that we had in the past where it bumped us up like 20 frames or something.
And you would turn it on and you go, oh man, this is so much smoother.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
We
like,
haven't gotten that in so long.
yeah, it's really hard to notice those changes now, but theoretically it should just be making it more consistent in the different areas.
Yeah. And like logically in my head, you never go more after you start to dwindle at those quality of life things, right? So like they're tweaking now. They're not making a change. They're just tweaking things. And once you start to tweak things, I'm sure over the course of 10 years, or Strike Global Offensive, if you looked at footage from 10 years ago to now, you go, holy shit. But if you look even year to year, you're probably not going, holy shit. You're going like, oh, that was a little different.
Yeah. I mean, because if they could make those huge jumps again, they would have.
They would do it. They would do it.
It's been a year and a half.
And they'd be telling us that they're working on massive changes, but they're not. And I think graphically the game's unless they remaster every map consistently and rotate them. I mean, we don't even know if they're going to be developing this anymore in a year, right?
Yeah. No, you don't know.
I think we still have a player base where they're going to, but it's not going to be massive. They're not going to be trying to get more people to buy the game.
Yeah. There becomes a point where everyone who's going to buy the game has bought the game. You'll get like, a little bit people here and there they'll add on, but unless they do something big, which is in my eyes a new engine to make the game
That's
run
the thing.
right
It has to be a new engine.
that brings people back. And then that's like, okay, is it PUBG then or is it PUBG?
But even then, maybe Bluehole decides to not have it. They could be the exact same game, the exact same rules, everything, and they might not even call it PUBG 2.
Yeah.
You know, they might just re-release a new game that's better.
Yeah, because why would they call it PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds if
Because it's not his Battlegrounds
it's not his
anymore.
Battlegrounds, right?
He's
So
going
it
to
becomes
collect the
Battlegrounds.
royalties, but it's just going to be, Battlegrounds or
Yeah.
Fighting Field.
Murder Mesa.
Combat Canal.
Yeah, I mean, so actually that kind of gets into another point, which I don't know if it fits in this care package. Maybe it's another one. I don't know. This was just another thought that I had that came up was what would pull me away from this game?
Another exact
it would have to
replica of
be
this, but with way better graphics.
Exactly. It'd have to be this, but everything better. But still, there's some things in this game that a lot of people who play AAA games would call. But I think that those things are what makes the game so much fun, and it makes the stakes so much higher. Because you're not like Apex running around and double jumping and taking, the balloons and flying all over the map, or like you're not like Fortnite with the jump pads and all that stuff. It's not. the quick movement isn't a mechanic that this game has, and I think that that's what sets it apart from those other games, and what makes it feel like you're very vulnerable. And I think that that's where you think that, oh, I've got, I could take this one step and I could, win it all, or I could completely lose out because I was just in the wrong spot. Like that, PUBG has that, and the other games don't as much for me.
True.
But if
what PUBG does terribly, though, are things like the vaulting and picking up your loot when you can clearly see it.
Yeah.
And the amount of time, for some reason, and I don't notice this in a lot of other games, is like the clear time for some reason. And I don't notice this in a lot of other games, is like the clear distinction of how fast you can aim down sights just because of the optics that you have on.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. From a realism point of view.
My arms still function the same.
Yeah. Yeah. John, were you trying to get a point in there?
Yeah, so I was just going to say, I don't think it would be an exact version of this game that would pull you away. Like, so based on what happened with us in CSGO, is our squad kind of like drifted apart a bit.
Yeah.
And we kind of, got tired of playing the same games, same maps, that kind of thing, got busy with other things. And then a new game came out that was interesting to us. So I don't know if this exact game type would just get us to that point again. I think it would have to be something different that would it would also take us like dropping away from PUBG first to actually pull it. Because like Rainbow Six Siege is pretty similar to CSGO.
Yeah.
Right? It seems like a good evolution of CSGO, like kind of strategic, fast paced,
established meta.
Yeah.
To play a game where there is not an established meta again would be amazing. Sorry, go ahead, John.
No. That's the thing is like, it's, I think it would be tough. Like we didn't get pulled to Rainbow Six Siege, right? We got pulled to just something that was new and exciting, that we were fascinated about. And it was kind of a mix of the games that we had played together, like CSGO and H1Z1. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think it'll be our PUBG love would have to dip more, and there would have to be something new and exciting. Like Apex kind of hit that for a little bit. Like we were kind of
we were pretty high.
It was awesome. It was so much fun, and I haven't touched it since the last time you and I played, John.
Yeah, I haven't touched it since London.
Yeah.
Or no, I played once. But yeah, I still like. I really appreciate that game. I want to go back and play it more, but it doesn't have the pull that like PUBG had.
But that's the thing. Like, why is that? Is that the movement?
I think it was
was it the newness that kept you in?
Ish. Like, I think it's like the PUBG style gels with us. I think it's familiarity at this point. I think it's like the consistent squattery, like the community that we have.
That's
like,
the technical term, squattery.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of like elements that are involved there. But yeah, that's I don't think it's any
the best. I think it's the newness is a big thing. Not the only thing, like you're saying, but I think that's one of the reasons that it's exciting, because you're getting in on a game, like Cody just said, without an established meta. You don't know who the best characters are. You don't know who counters who. You don't know how best to play the game, where the best spots are to go, what the best weapons are. Everyone's kind of learning, and that's super exciting. It's very hard to get into a CSGO or a Rainbow Six Siege, or like, can you imagine trying to get into World of Warcraft right now? Like, that's like impossible.
Don't ask me to do that to myself. I've been off World of Warcraft for a long time. Don't put me back on it.
But that's the thing. It's like the excitement of playing a new game with new friends, new people, just a new adventure.
Yeah.
And you feel like, oh, I got in early. I'm like one of the first people. You are shaping the meta with everyone else. I was like, oh, you are shaping the meta with everyone else playing it. And I think that was what drew us in for a little bit, for like the night that we played the Call of Duty beta.
I never played it. I was gone that day.
Like, I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, I'm just figuring this out with everyone else. But there's been a lot of BR games that have come out, and none of them have matched the adrenaline rush and the feeling that I get from PUBG. The feeling that I get when I win.
When you get a kill and when you get a win is how I'm going to judge everything from now on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I feel like I really worked for it and it gets my blood pumping, I'm going to feel great.
Yeah.
But Apex, when we won, I was like, oh, cool, we won.
Yeah. And you
Nice,
said that
we
about
won.
Call of Duty too. You were like, oh, I got a guy. Not like,
Oh.
oh, I just barely
No,
made it out of that.
Me, it's got him.
Yeah.
Got
Whoa. Yeah, exactly. I think we're getting off topic a little bit, but I think this is all good.
Familiarity now kind of spoils us. Like when I first played Apex, I was really frustrated because I was like, I swear I should be doing better, right? And I know, Dan, you were feeling that too. Like you kept,
I was annoyed with myself.
yeah, you kept feeling out of the loop and like unable to perform as well as like could in PUBG, and it felt really weird and off for a bit. And I think it's just because the games are so close, like not in terms of pacing or anything like that, but because it's a similar feel as far as like just the BR looting up and then like shooting people, right? That should be similar between the games, but it's so much different because of all these factors that it was tough to get used to.
It's sort of like when you fall
to the
into
comfort of PUBG.
Yeah, it's like when you fall into a show hole and you go to find something that's similar to the other thing, and you kind of get into it, but you don't finish that series.
Yeah.
Because you're looking for something that's going to keep you going, and you go like, ah, crap, that wasn't it. And then you have a bunch of half-watched series before you find the next thing, or you just go back and rewatch The Office for 10 years in a row.
Yeah, because it's what you know and what you like. Yeah. Yeah, I think that happened with CS for a while too. Like I just got tired of playing the same maps over and over and over again. Like tired of knowing exactly when to expect like Mr. Counter-Terrorist from coming around the corner, or exactly how long it takes to get from A to B on cache. Right? Like that's just it's fun, but then you sort of burn out. And then the other big reason we burned out was because of cheaters, which luckily we don't have that huge problem in PUBG because you don't anymore, but also because you just don't come across that many people. So even if 20 people out of the 100 are cheating in a match, you might only see one of them or none.
That would be awful.
Yeah.
If there were 20 cheaters in each match.
Yeah.
Well, they using stuff to give them an advantage like radar that doesn't give them like superpowers. Basically.
Right.
Well, it's kind of superpowers, but not like instant kill superpowers, right?
Yeah.
Like the cheating that we saw in the past was pretty bonkers.
Speed
like
hacking and
rage hacking, or like
crossbow
sniping
bolts from across the map.
Top of the mountain on Erangel. Do you remember that?
Yep.
I think I was playing with Crander, but like they were like it was crazy. That kind of thing was nice.
Imagine if you were at a superhero convention and you were Radar Man. They were all like, well, buddy, I mean, come on, it's not really his superpower.
Who are you really saving?
Yeah, man, this is a good topic. I like this because I also want to talk about the things that we want to add. Like, I think, we've established that PUBG is feature complete. It has amazing weapon play, the gun sounds, the feel. It's very difficult. You can't just master it right off the bat. There's no auto aim or anything like that. Mm-hmm. But there are some things that are missing, or things that I would like to see adjusted slightly to make for a better overall experience. And so for that reason, it's not completely done, but I think it's feature complete. Because now we're getting into things where it's like, this is just my opinion. I think that there should be a movement overhaul. And that's kind of just my opinion because it works right now.
And I don't want to be 4 foot tall when I'm in first person.
Exactly. That's another one on my wish list.
So maybe that's the feeling that is kind of missing from PUBG is like, usually you get a feature complete game on release and then you get like some additional content along with these quality of life changes that make the game drastically better within like the next year or whatever of release. And then it kind of drifts off after that. And right now we're still like in need of some quality of life fixes, and like performance bug fixes, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So we're not really at the same level of what a fully released game would have. It's just like fully released in name only.
Yeah. Yeah, and you said, so right before we started recording, you said, do you guys think that this game feels like a beta? And I don't know how to answer that so much, but it sounded like, Cody, you said it does?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it does. I think that, again, if I didn't have this game and somebody said, you got to pick a new game, and I wouldn't pick this as a battle royale. It would probably be Apex, or my historical nature would want to go to Firestorm. Well, that's a different game, but that mode.
I was trying to bring up not Firestorm, but do you think it feels like a beta when I was talking about it not feeling like a fully released game? Still kind of feels like early access, where I'm not sure like if it's just because we played from the beginning and saw the features come out one at a time rather than all at once. Full release.
Yeah, I don't know. If you said, here's this PUBG game, I'm having a good time, like, play it with me, I'd probably buy it. I think the $30 entry fee is pretty low, so I would have lower expectations. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why they haven't raised the price, because I don't think it deserves a $60 price tag.
I will say that when I was first introduced to Counter-Strike, I was severely intimidated because I heard people playing it long before. So I knew that there were going to be good people when I started.
Yeah.
I don't just want to get shit on by everyone. Like that doesn't sound in by everyone. Like that doesn't sound interesting to me. So I was really hesitant to, even when I had the game, to actually start playing it on a regular. It took me a while to get in.
Yeah.
So I think I would feel similarly about PUBG. Like, do I really want to get into this game that everyone's been playing for the last 2 years? Like, no, thank you. Like, I'll watch you play, I guess, but I'm just gonna sit over here in the corner with my Risk of Rain 2.
More risk, more rain.
Riskier, rainier.
You know what? Just quick tangent. The difficulty settings are drizzle, rainstorm, and monsoon.
Oh, perfect. Love it. Topical. Anyway, yeah, so to wrap this up, I mean, I think maybe it's two different definitions, but like, I think the game is, maybe it's two different definitions, but like, I think the game is feature complete, and it sounds like PUBG Corp think it is too, but I don't think it's done in that it is complete, because we still have performance, we still have stability issues, we still have some tweaks that I would like to see. But I think in its current state on console, I think it is done by that definition.
That's like the video game equivalent of, I am fiscally conservative but socially liberal.
What is your one wish list item for PUBG? Like, it could be a feature, it could be like performance. Is kind of a cop out, but it could be something like that. What's your one thing that you would want PUBG to do? If 100% PUBG to do, if they would only do one more thing for like PC.
Cody, you want to go first?
Yeah, I want it to be optimized.
Yeah.
100%. I want to be able on my 1050 to look amazing.
Yeah.
At least high settings.
You want a lot of skins to make you look amazing?
Ah!
I mean, at the risk of saying the exact same thing Cody said, optimization, but I think also movement overhaul, including better vaulting. Cody brought that up, and I didn't realize how much it's bad, how bad it is. Yeah.
How much it's bad.
Yeah, how much bad it is.
How much bad. It's pretty bad. Because there's been a lot of times where I'm in a firefight and I'm like, why can't, like, I have to approach the window from straight ahead and I have to be perfectly aligned and press spacebar.
It has to be the right window.
Also, I think it's ridiculous when we're like, knock wall, but it just looks like a bunch of pixels.
It looks like a golden eye wall.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I have less of an issue with graphics because, like, Counter-Strike, historically, not that good graphics. But it's just that, like, why sometimes can I go through those tiny little square windows in bathrooms on, like, Vikendi, or other times I can't? Like, that, It drives me nuts. I don't get it.
Yeah.
What were we going to say,
I
John?
think my wish list item is, I think, a redo of the assets on like Erangel, since like we've talked about in the past. Redoing kind of like city layout, the houses, that kind of thing. Even though it would change the feel of the map entirely, I think it would be fun to have those all be custom assets. Even though it would probably lead to performance issues like all of their other custom asset maps, except for Knock. But yeah, I think that would be a really fun way to mix maps up. Is to like change the assets, keep the feel of the map, the landscape, but change the city design.
Yeah.
But
I think that's
like you
exactly
said,
what Aragon needs.
Yeah, expand some of the areas, make it, some of them make a little bit more sense. Don't put those what are they, like the chairs that are like twice as big for people or whatever? Like,
chairs that are like taller than your character model.
Yeah, maybe that's why you're 4 feet tall when you're FPP, is because everything is just like scale. The players like scaled down to make things feel bigger.
They scaled everything based on that chair size, but they went the wrong way. So
yeah,
everything is smaller than the chair, but should have been bigger.
Yeah.
I think that wraps it up pretty well. It sounds like we're more or less in agreement.
Yeah.
There's things that need to be done, but overall it's a pretty fun game, and a lot of things I want are just small things. I mean, even stuff like official game modes, the return of limited time events, like that will keep people coming back, but that's not really high on my lists of, must-haves. Those are just nice to haves.
They broke the servers a few times, so maybe they got tired of fixing them.
Probably. Probably.
I think that this game, even though we're saying that it's feature complete, that doesn't mean it's over and done with. There's a lot of competitive games that have been around for a very long time, Counter-Strike, StarCraft, that kind of thing, that aren't really adding a lot of newness to the game. Maps, maybe, but it's a little bit different in this game, that are still like have active communities, that kind of thing. So just because we're saying it's done doesn't mean that the game is going anywhere. We're the people keeping it around. We're going to play it as long as we want.
Yeah. I don't see myself slowing down anytime soon. It probably helps because we play so little that it's always pretty fresh for us.
But I mean, I'm free all day Sunday.
It's a date.
It's a date.
Pub jizzle for rizzle.
Should we make the hotline bling, guys? What do you think?
Make it bling.
You have new messages.
Hey guys, it's Miss Bedford. I have a little surprise for you guys. This is a little song, okay? So don't judge me because I tried my best, okay? All right. If I mess up, then I'm just gonna call back and you can use this as a blooper, okay? All right. A long, long time ago, there was a little boy born in the town of Bedford, Virginia. His mom tried to teach him stuff, but in his head it turned to fluff. His mom was sad, her son was so bad. Pisces, sun, and leaf. Ah, it's lost! Oh my gosh! Damn it! Alright, hang on. I'm gonna call back.
Hi, good evening. This is Lady Beard Fassé, and I had been listening to your most recent podcast, and I had a question that I feel like I really need answered. I feel like I may have fallen victim to some of the things that you were talking about regarding substandard maple syrup. I guess I never realized that this was a big concern for both me and my family. But my question for you this evening is there a specific maple syrup that the Hot Drop podcast endorses? so I can be providing this to both myself and my family. I would appreciate a response, and I thank you very much. You have a good evening.
Okay, try again. Sorry, there's a wasp. I have to be outside because my kids are so annoying. They won't let me do anything, so I have to sing this song outside. So anyways, okay, this is Mrs. Bedford, take 2 on the song. Okay. A long, long time ago, there was a little boy born in the town of Bedford, Virginia. His mom tried to teach him stuff, but in his head it turned to fluff. His mom was bad. Her son was so bad. Pisces sun and Leo moon, his rising signs a problem too. I blame the cosmos for his crime. But here's a secret I'm going to share with you. He's loyal to the end, a real friend through and through. Don't be fooled by his misleading tough guy impression. Bedford is the greatest guy you'll find. All right. Thank you very much.